Nicole says, "Thank you so much for what you do to spread financial literacy by sharing your knowledge and experience. I've been following your podcast for almost a year. I've binged all the episodes from the beginning. You've helped me learn things I doubt I would have learned any other way." Robert, that's cool to hear. Shout out Nicole R. Nicole says, "Here's my question. I've been saving up for my first home for several years. I'm 40 and I finally feel I'm there financially, having saved for a good down payment. I live in Southern California and it's expensive to buy a starter home slash condo. Think 2 or 3 bedrooms. But I'm also not too far from the city, and most of the ones I've seen that are in my $500,000 to $650,000 budget are these older homes built in the 70s and 80s that often require upgrades, fixes, or might have a high HOA. So with a 30-year fixed mortgage, estimates for a monthly payment range between $3,900 to $4,500. But recently, I saw a new home construction loan that's offering an adjustable rate mortgage with a 2-1 buy down that makes $730,000 borrowing for a 3-bed condo seem pretty affordable to me. It's spacious and in a really good school community. When again compared to a fixed rate to a $600,000 mortgage versus a 7-year ARM on this $740,000 mortgage. So again, I'm getting more home for a lower monthly payment. My realtor helped lay out the numbers for me. Despite this price of the home being higher, it's still a lower monthly payment. The new construction builder, who's very reputable, is motivated to sell, so they may also consider helping me on the closing costs. I'm still on the fence with such a huge financial decision, as it will be my biggest purchase ever. Robert, walk us through, before any of us answer this question, what is an adjustable rate mortgage? What is this 2-1 buy down that she's alluding to? How can people like myself who've never used an adjustable rate mortgage better understand the situation that Nicole R is in right now?
Yes, an adjustable rate mortgage is exactly what it says. The rate adjusts accordingly along the way versus a fixed rate mortgage. And here's why it makes sense in this situation, especially given the 2-for-1 buy down. And that is, she could go in, buy this house, give her more buying power with this adjustable rate mortgage. Although we got to be careful, we don't want to buy too much home because of it. But what it does is it gives you more buying power out of the gate. And then you have time, 1, 2, 3 years, to be able to refinance to a fixed rate mortgage when hopefully the rates come back down. So that's the bonus of having this adjustable rate mortgage. The other thing that's cool is if they're offering this 2-to-1 buy down, 2-1 buy down, she's going to save 2% on the interest rate for year 1 and 1% on year 2. And then in year 3, it will go back to the original rate. So there's a lot of room here to get more house and really have a lower rate and more buying power while still being able to refinance when hopefully rates come back down into that 5 or 6% range in the next 2 or 3 years, which I expect they will do. So I think this is a good situation. A lot of builders are doing it right now because they have to move inventory. Because remember, when they started building all these homes 2-3 years ago, we weren't in this freeze for real estate and we didn't have such high rates. So I think it's a really good situation. A lot of people should really look at this because on top of it, if she can get closing cost assistance as well, she could be buying a really great deal and have the affordability in the payment that she wouldn't have without this buy down and without the adjustable rate mortgage.
So just so we're on the same page, an adjustable rate mortgage is a mortgage where the interest rate moves up and down on a monthly, quarterly, annualized basis here with the pretty much the 10-year yield, right? Because that's what mortgages track. So as the 10-year yield goes up, the interest rate on your mortgage will go up, which means higher monthly payments. As the 10-year yield goes down, the interest rate on your mortgage will go down as well, which means lower monthly payments. And on average, the interest rates for these adjustable rate mortgages are lower than a fixed rate, which is why you were saying that you kind of can save some money there with more buying power. So if she has a 2-1 buy down, essentially what you're saying is not only will the interest rate be lower because it's an ARM versus a fixed, but she's also now at 2% lower interest rate than where the ARM would be in the first place for the first year, and then 1% lower interest rate from where the ARM would be in the second year, and then back to the normal where the ARM would be fingers crossed it's not higher in the future than where it is today, because again, they can go up just like they can come down. And to your point, I would also agree that mortgage rates will continue to tick lower in the coming 12, 24, 36 months. But again, none of that's guaranteed. So here's what I would do. I would likely go ahead with the ARM and the motivated seller closing costs, right? Because I think that if you can get them to pay for some of the closing costs, plus you're able to save it, like you could be sitting in a really interesting situation where you are saving a lot of money, your interest rate's like relatively low compared to the 30-year fix. But the thing is, your goal is to be in a 30-year fixed in the next 12, 18, 24, 36 months, right? The goal is not to go through all 7 years now with this ARM, because what happens if it goes up and you know all the crazy stuff that who knows or could be around the corner. So by having a fixed lower interest rate, hopefully as interest rates continue to come down, and Robert, let's just look here on the 30-year fixed mortgage rates at the moment. The 15-year fixed mortgage rate is at 5.5%. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate is at 6.3%. That's up slightly week over week from 6.26, and that's down dramatically year over year from 7% plus. So actually, we were up at 7.8% back in October of 2023. So from 7.8% fixed, now down to about 6.2, 6.3. So I think this will continue to trend lower. I think, to your point, I would agree with you that the 30-year fixed will hopefully be in the fives sometime in 2026. And maybe in 2026 or 2027, Nicole R., that is when you refinance out of this adjustable rate mortgage and you are now at a fixed, call it 5.5% or 5% interest rate mortgage, depending on what happens to mortgage rates.
Yeah, I love that breakdown. And it's really all about understanding the improved buying power with these options. And also, if you're buying new construction, which is the case here, you can find yourself in a higher, quick capital appreciation situation, especially if it's in a growing area. So there's a lot of good things about this proposed deal that you brought to us. And I think I love it because you have options to get you to a payment you want in a house that you want. Whereas right now, or at least a year ago or 6 months ago, rates were so high that payments were $1,000, $2,000 more for the same house from a few years ago. And that's what's really stifled the real estate market, is the payments are pricing people out from buying, making this a renter nation. So I love this deal and I wish you the best.